Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's deck profile for you is going to be yellow-purple security control. You know me, I'm a big fan of security control style decks. That's why I play so much yellow hybrid and always trying to make that deck work. Well, this is like an alternative play of style of deck that you can use to help combat the meta. This is going to be a fantastic deck to go against a lot of decks that we're going to be seeing, particularly very good against Shoutmon and just the whole that whole crossheart mechanic entirely. Absolutely wonderful against that, as well as just, I mean, it's security control. It does a ton of recovery. It just keeps going and going and going. This is more of a tax control style build where you just keep causing your opponent to just burn all their resources until you win. Once they were just run out of all their like high-end plays, then you just kind of win from there. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Don't forget though, our memory marker featured this month is Starmons. So if you're playing some Shoutmon in general, or you're just a Starmons fan in general, also great memory marker here, handmade out of clay by my wife, Digimon. Hand painted little face as well, super cool, very cute. Perfect memory marker for this format, I think. You can find this on our Etsy page, link in the description below. Also there you can find all of our previous memory markers that we featured on the channel in the past, as well as some of our Battle Ready Inc. merch. Alright, so I've got the deck pulled up for you guys here so you can kind of see everything and follow along with me as we go. We are at 51 cards, and that's just because I have a card at the end that I want to talk about. It's just the Security Venusmon here, the promo. If you guys know when we're going to get this or have any inclination, please let me know. I thought I saw a post about it at one point, but then I couldn't find it, so I have no idea when we're ever going to get this card at this point. JP had it like in like BT8 or something like that, like forever long ago. So very, very unfortunate we haven't got these yet. But this will be the total of the deck. I did play a lot of, well, not a lot, but I did play a fair amount of this deck in BT9 with some different cards, just a couple things slightly different, like the Venusmon, of course, is new, but most of this other stuff is all pretty much just stayed the same, and I love this deck. It's so crazy. The Magna Angemons, the Flame Hell Size together, oh my god, mwah, just busted, absolutely busted. So let's go ahead and do this card by card here. So for our babies here, we are running the Upamons here, just if you have 3 or less, when you attack, draw 1. We need some sort of yellow egg. This one's nice because it gives us a little bit more draw power, because we don't do a ton of evoing in this deck, so our hand resources can get kind of limited at times, especially like hard playing Tamers, hard playing options. You know, we run out of hand resources. So Upamon, when our security gets low and we really need those hand resources, Upamon really steps up. For now, I've got the Salamon in here just because it's more recovery. We love to recover in this deck. We just basically win through attrition for our opponents. They hit a security, we tap 3 Kari, gain 3 memory, pass turn. We recover back, and it's like it never happened, and they got to hit us again, and boom, we suspend those 3 Kari again, and, you know, pass it back to us, boom, we recover it back. It's like just a never-ending cycle as they slowly burn through all their resources. So Salamon just allowing that additional bit of recovery is really awesome. Now, my preferred rookie, though, that I would love to put in this deck if we ever got it, would be the Promo Security Venusmon. So a couple little key parts about this that's really, really awesome. So one, he is a security Digimon, but instead of playing to field, he adds to hand. So he gets triggered in security attack -1 on one of our opponent's Digimon. Very yellow thing there. It's kind of nice. It's flexible. It can hit something that has like any sort of OTK, like Grandis, you know, lower their security checks by 1. That's cool, solid. Or if they've got multiple things on field, you know, you can hit one of those things they haven't attacked with. Nice and versatile. I like that. But the fact that it goes to hand, this means that we can then evo it in raising area on top of our Upamons, and then promote it up, and then use tactical retreat on it. Oh my god. Next level plays here. 1 cost to put that Venusmon back into security. You see where I'm going with this? It is a never-ending loop. As long as you got the tactical retreats. So you get 1 Venusmon in rotation, boom, hits in security, goes to hand. Evo, promote next turn, tactical retreat, back into security. Gets hit, security attack -1 to hand. Evo in raising area, promote. Tactical Retreat right back into security. Now you can of course use Tactical Retreat on Salamon. If you know you can't get the recovery off the Salamon and you know you need it. Like, I like to swing with the Salamon a lot of times, and if it survives because it hits like a Tamer, or it hits an option that kills something else, then I like to Tactical Retreat my Salamon back into security. It's nice like that, but the fact that Venusmon just is a big loop with Tactical Retreat is absolutely busted. That's probably part of the reason we haven't got these yet, just because it's absolutely insane value. I do have 2 Loemons in here. I know some people's yellow purple, they don't really like the Loemons. I think if I'm running 8 purple Tamers, absolutely toss a couple of these guys in there. I've won so many games hybrid for game in this deck just because Loemon, because a lot of people don't expect it, and it's just an easy include. Just include a couple copies. I mean, it's not really that big. It doesn't take up a ton of space. We're not asking for a 4 of slot here. Just 2 of these guys here. You could even argue just doing 1, but I recommend at least 1 hybrid because your opponent never sees it coming in this deck. Really like it. Next, we got the Magna Angemons. There's not much to say. This card is busted. Its price tag completely reflects how good it is. It's been good. I wish I kept my playset now because I really miss them. I'm always having to borrow friends' playsets at this point. But on play, Recovery 1, fantastic stuff. The Inheritable, if you're giving 1000 DP, does come up from time to time. When our Megas Evo on top of it. I do have the Angemons from the starter deck, the Mass Day starter deck in here as well, just because I like a little bit more level 5s, so that way I can work in a couple more level 6s. And the Angemons here are great just because that security attack -2 comes up a lot. Just, play this. If I don't have the Magnas and I don't have the health size to play more Magnas, Angemon here is a good alternative. I just got 2 copies in here just to kind of help buffer out those numbers just a little bit there. And then the security attack +1 is actually really great. So in the previous format, I used all Ophanimon fall down modes, which are purples, and so it pretty much always gave this security attack +1. Less so with the Venusmon, but still very solid. If you have like an Ophanimon in hand, you can maybe plan ahead to go Angemon deliberately, so that way you can go Ophanimon afterwards. Just you got to be a little bit more cautious and a little bit more cognitive when you're thinking about which one should you play at what times. Usually want to go with the Magnus just because the recovery is absolutely bananas, and even if they kill the Magnus, you're just going to recycle it with the health size. Venusmon, the new include. So I dropped the Ophanimons down by 2 to throw in 2 Venusmon just because this card is just absolutely incredible. It's one of the best yellow megas ever made. 4 Evo cost is a fair amount, but it's okay because when Digivolving, all of your opponent's Digimon gain security attack -1 until your opponent's turn ends. So this is really great because it's a big blanket. So even if they bring out something new or they DNA, they go hybrid on top of a Tamer, whatever the case is, promote something out of Raising Area, it all has security attack -1. It's absolutely busted. The fact that it just blankets everything, no matter what, is just absolutely incredible. So security attack -1 is amazing. Okay, this puts Metal Garurumon in check. This puts Imperial in check. This puts Shoutmon in check. All these decks that are just doing these little one punch, just like death by 1,000 cuts style decks here. Venusmon just completely shuts those off. Now again, it is just for 1 turn, so you will have to give you 1 turn of respite to prepare for it, right? But also opponent's turn, your opponent's Digimon with security attack, whether that be plus or minus, it doesn't say, it doesn't matter, plus or minus, can't attack this Digimon. Great. This is really great against decks like Black War Greymon that likes to use the Metal Greymon Inheritable to attack unsuspended Digimon. Really good for preventing that. And then also when Digivolving and when attacking effects of those Digimon don't activate. Oh man, no when attacking and no when Digivolving effects. That's just so marvelous, absolutely. And this is just at all times. So you do get that 1 round of guaranteed security attack -1, but the opponent's turn, like that security attack, even on following turns, especially if they play stuff that has security attack +1, this will come in very, very handy against those solid decks, especially Black War Greymon, because we expect a lot more of that played to help combat the Shoutmon decks, and then the Venusmon here is a really good way to combat the Black War Greymon. So really, really fantastic card. Love working it in. Now, it is no recovery, so you do have to keep that in mind. This is a security control deck, and it's a card that doesn't recover. But it's still an insanely powerful card, so I think that's why it's still a must include. And then, of course, we do have the Venusmon fall down modes in here as well, just because it is a recovery. So it is a 4 Evo cost, recover 1, really great. And then on deletion, we get to play out a level 4 or lower purple or yellow. So, you know, if you've got the lowies in trash, maybe they got hit in security early game, you can play one of those out. The Salamons, you know, get more recovery off the Salamons. If we have the Harrismons, being able to get that loop back in rotation, say for whatever reason it got thrown out of the rotation, you can get it going again with the fall down mode here getting deleted. Really, really wonderful card. Still absolutely a must include in this deck. If you don't want to run the Venusmons and you just want to run the 4 Ophanimons, I also understand that, because it is very much a banger of a card. For our memory fixer, I've got the Karis here just because I could run the TKs that swap stuff out, but most of the time, everything in my security is great. I'm not worried about pulling stuff out of my security. Even if it's like a Magna or something like that, it gets hit, I can just Flame Hell Scythe, bring it right back. If Flame Hell Scythe's in there, awesome, free Flame Hell Scythe. So Kari's just really solid over the TK, and we do a ton of recovery, so Kari just helping mitigate that. If we get multiple Karis on field, cool. I don't mind. If I've got no plays, just play a second or third Kari just to pass turn, you know, while I'm waiting on my opponent to slowly kill themselves. That's cool. I don't mind that. And then we just, like I said, we do so much recovery that we'll get value off multiple Karis. We do have the purple Kari in here also, just like I talked about at the beginning. Your opponent hits you once, you suspend multiple Karis and just like set them back, and then you recover, get all of that, you know, get the security back they just hit. Your Karis are unsuspended for the next turn. They hit again, suspend those Karis. It's like a never-ending cycle. Once you get multiple Karis in rotation, it's very, very difficult for your opponent to get past you. For real. Like 3, 4 Karis. Oh my god. The moment you get 4 Karis in rotation, I mean, that's pretty much it. They basically cannot beat you, because you're, as long as you don't give them a ton of memory and you just like choke them at 3 or, you know, less every single turn, they're going to hit 1 security. You're going to suspend your 4 Karis, boom, passes it back to your turn. And then just whatever you play, make sure you don't give them too much memory. And it's just going to be a never ending cycle with the Karis. Really, really great stuff. And then also to kind of complement the Karis, we've got the Mimis here, which is when an option card is played. So this is you or your opponent. When a player plays it, either turn, you suspend her, gain a memory. It's really nice for like reducing play cost of some of your stuff. Plenty of times I'll be at like 2 memory. They have a memory fixer. I want to play one of these 6 cost option cards here. I'll play one of them, suspend the Mimi, and keep them at their 3, right? So if they got their memory fixer, it's like a 5 play cost option. And as well as just passing turn. 1, Mimi cancels out Hammer Sparks, which is always great. So when your opponent tries to play a Hammer Spark to like do some really crazy play, boom, just Mimi, just null and void instantly. Also just increasing the price of all your opponent's option cards. Really great. I've been using this in BL Star, actually, funny enough. So just being able to play this when they play those options for free, and I'll just Mimi. It's like, well, it's not exactly for free. Flame Hell Scythe, I've mentioned it multiple times. Fantastic card. Absolutely wonderful. The 6,000 DP is solid. You might not always kill something. There's a lot of 7,000 DP stuff floating around, but it's still really good. But the big thing is the fact that we can recycle stuff over and over. My big favorite thing is, of course, the Magna Angemon. Just, you know, playing one, it gets deleted, playing it back, playing it back, playing it back, just multiple Flame Hell Scythes. Imagine getting 8 Magna Angemons in your deck. Like, that's what this feels like, as well as that DP -6. Really, really strong. Really, really strong. Like, for real. And then Chaos Degradation here. I do like this card a lot. Particularly, I like it in security against like Shoutmon, because Shoutmon's big thing is it wants to get deleted. It wants to swing into security and get deleted, or survive the check and essentially delete itself to save all of its inheritables underneath its Tamers. So if we have option cards that don't delete, but they still get it off the field, then we can dodge that whole mechanic and all their sources go to the trash. So Chaos Degradation here is great for that, because we can just put it in their security and then all their sources go away. If you can get rid of their Shoutmon inheritables that give it rush, that deck suffers. It suffers so bad. because it doesn't have rush anymore, and that's like it's a big thing. Is it likes to kind of do a sort of OTK. So chaos degradation is a great way to combat that. Besides, of course, all the massive amounts of recovery we do. I've got the holy waves in here just because it's a great thing just to pass turn with. You know, you're at 3 memory. You just play this to pass turn back to your opponent. They're back to their 3 memory with their memory fixer. You know, and they've got another security to deal with. Getting hit in security is great because it just triggers. We get a free recovery instantly. Tactical retreat, which we already talked about, how it works really nicely in the deck already, especially with the Venusmon when we get that. But the security effect is just the same thing as Holy Wave. We just get to instantly recover. Tactical retreat and security is one of my favorite things. Of course, we got the reinforced memory boost, just that I one of because of the limited. We would totally run more of this because it's basically like Holy Wave with a draw and gain 3 memory on a following turn. Like, yeah, okay, this is a complete upgrade to Holy Wave, essentially. The only thing is your opponent gets to see what you put in there, which, you know, isn't necessarily a bad thing because you also know. So yeah, reinforced memory boost. Oh, God, what a great card. Now, this is where, again, my build differs from some people's a little bit. I've got the Schwartz in here because this card just is absolutely incredible. In BT7, this card was a blowout. And basically what this does is it represents our Crimson Blaze. Crimson Blaze is an incredibly powerful card that we like to use in the red-yellow decks, but now we basically will use this instead of that for running purple. We still get the nice big board wipe because we're going to have multiple Karis, we're going to have multiple Mimis. It's just going to be really nice. So you'll pretty much always get to blow out a whole bunch of things on your opponent's board. Anything level 5 or lower is really, really solid. I just got it as a 2 of here just for those niche situations. I don't want to see it too early before I get too many Tamers on board. I want to see this kind of mid-game is usually where I like to see it. So at a 2 of, we get it right there. I've got the Death X's in here just because they're still phenomenal cards in this format. I've talked about them in numerous videos, but basically against 1, the mirror match, 2 against X Cross or Cross Heart decks, and as well as if we see yellow hybrid still being worked in, you know, like myself, still wanting to play it, this card's going to do great against all those matchups just because it's going to make it almost free every time you play it. Digivolve your whole opponent's board and then delete everything level 4 and lower. And then your opponent has to deal with this because it's just every single turn, as soon as they end turn, it's going to kill something. It's going to kill something. That's just phenomenal stuff there. That Death X is really, really powerful for sure. So, yeah, just a real banger of a card. So I got it at a 2 of. I've said it before, but if you've got Death X, work it into your deck. Whatever your deck playing this format, I don't care what it is, at least put in 2 Death X's. If you got them or can afford them, they are very pricey right now. But try to work in 2 because they're just going to be so good against so many decks this format. I do have the Avenged Kidmon in here, but honestly, this is kind of a flex spot. I like it because we have a ton of options in this deck, and it's very much a grindy deck. It's sometimes it's literally about who decks out first, and Avenged Kidmon being able to put a massive amount of options. I mean, we run more options than pretty much any deck out there. We're going to put way more options back in our deck than our opponent does in their deck. And also we expect BL Star to do pretty well this format because it's got so many ways to counter Crossheart that Avenged Kidmon is like a silver bullet against that deck. So really like Avenged Kidmon. Really, really strong stuff here. And also it does delete. Delete one opponent's Digimon with 3 Musketeers in its traits or 8,000 DP or less. So you can still pop something for sometimes like 1-2 memory just because of all the options you played that you get to cycle back in. Another choice instead of Avenged Kidmon though would be the Defeat. So Zwart Defeat here that is pretty neat because when digivolving, you know, you can delete one of your opponent's Tamers. It's a neat way to kind of counter again Shoutmon. Oh man, brain fart there for a second. The only thing is you want to digivolve this guy to get that effect. So if you hard draw him, he's only going to ever be useful in the Ophanimon. So if I was running 4 Ophanimons, I would probably drop the Avenged Kidmons for the Zwart defeats for 2 of these guys. Getting hit in security is always great, fantastic stuff, and then he just instantly gets to delete something as soon as he dies, and so your opponent never wants to deal with him. It's kind of a situation like that. But the fact that you could Digivolve and delete a Tamer, deleting an opponent's Mikey when they're playing Shoutmon, oh my god, absolutely like game ender for them, because they can't do their whole use my resources underneath my Tamers trick anymore because they don't have a Mikey to do it. They have to have a Mikey to use that trick. So if you can keep them off their Mikeys, that's really, really strong. So defeat is another choice as well. But again, I would only do it if I was running 4 Ophanimons just to have that guaranteed target to Evo on top of a little bit more reliably. Only having 2 Ophanimons in the deck, less so. So I'd rather run the Avenged Kidmon over the defeat since I'm running Venus. And that's just kind of the general thinking there on the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. If I missed anything or you have any other ideas that would work great in this deck, please put it in the comment section below. I always love hearing everyone's ideas, and just helps me grow as a player and just helps other people grow as well that read the comments. So till next time.